I was driving the other day, and I realised that everything as I know it had just suddenly changed in one little radio kind of thing. Like now, like Tony Abbott has gone out and he's turned the dial up on the terror meter. I don't even know what it looks like. We've gone from possible risk of terror to now I think we're now at high. And I went, have the elves at ASIO got a little woodworking shop at the back of Parliament House where they've kind of knocked up a terror dial, a bit like the bushfire dial, and tone goes out the front. He goes, well, we don't know, I'll just kind of put the dial up a bit, and he's just kind of stuffed around with the dial. And I mean, who made up the quadrants anyway? Like, it's like possible. What's possible? What's possible? It's a really weird thing to say about terror. Oh, it could happen. It's possible. It may not happen at all, it may never happen, but it's possible. Like, I mean, aliens are possible. You could have a dial like that for anything. I don't. It's kind of like saying, putting possible is a bit like going, terrorists have potential, but are failing to live up to it. It's a little bit like, it's like the terrorist report card. I don't quite get it. I don't get this, because it's like a dial. It's kind of like, there's these little thing like that. So, and then you've got your quadrants, you see. They go like that, your quadrants. And I guess, that would be high. That would be possible. And that would probably be something like, couldn't be fucked. That would be like, oh, it's too hot. I'm too stoned. You couldn't do terrorism in Australian summer. Like, you couldn't strap a bomb to yourself. You'd just sweat it off. So that would be, you'd go, oh, look at the weather today. I'll just have to move it back to back to the couldn't be fucked section of the terror dial. So he's moved up to there to high, and high is a lot more go-getter. It's like, yep, it's going to happen. You don't know where it's going to happen. You don't know when, but it's going to, it kind of makes you feel a little bit like I had a little bit of a heart attack in the car. And I thought, fuck, what if they're in the car? What if in the back seat? I didn't even think to check. When I got in the car, they went in there because it was only possible in the car. And I put the news on, and then it was high, and I hadn't checked the boot. There was probably someone from the Al-Qaeda sort of, doing the full jihad in my boot. And I wouldn't even know. And I had to stop the car and just do a quick check. Had to check myself. I had to actually give myself an internal, frisk myself, all over, because I could have been in the high section. I could be, concealing something that I didn't. I could be a threat to the Australian, kind of national safety. So, this is the thing you worry about. Now, the other quadrants, a bit like, I don't know what, they just kind of make them up. You might... When he's out there with his big dial, I suppose when you're in power, you get to move the dial. I mean, that is when you get to be Prime Minister, you get to set the dial. It's a bit like Dad gets the remote control, Tone gets the dial. So, although I thought he'd go for something more modern than the dial, he went out and then high. I don't know what comes after high. I suppose you have extreme, isn't it? Just like the thing at extreme. Extremist. Well, set it to extremists. Just watch out. Extremists everywhere. It'll be just insane. It'll be like living in some sort of Afghanistan sort of desert situation out there. Extremist, kind of like it is. It's a bit like that anyway, sometimes, when at Christmas time shopping, like really full on. This one, I suppose, would be fucking catastrophic, wouldn't it? Catastrophic. You're fucked. You're absolutely fucked. It's over. Everyone's a terrorist. Everyone's a fucking terrorist. Everyone. You have to be suspicious of everyone. And you have to start, and I think that one there is, we're all dead and fucked and we hate everyone and we kill people and we'll kill so we can be safe. And if we get safe, we can come back to this nice place here where we're all okay again. But to get there, we have to get very aggressive. Got quite a good grasp of politics sometimes, I think. But I'm starting to think, this kind of thing up going from possible to high. I went, what does that mean in my own life? How am I going to live differently I'm a mother of 5. I'm just like a normal, sort of citizen, sort of, not quite normal. But what am I going to do differently? And the other day I came home, I'm not kidding, there was a sports bag out the front of my house. I had to clear the house. I cleared the house. No one could come in. I had to identify. It was Charlie's school bag, But maybe, you know, at the Catholic school he's going to, maybe there's someone who's secretly signed up for the jihad. I don't know. They've slipped something in there coming to blow my house up because of my intense political... I don't know why they'd target me. But we all know the fear in us now is that we're all starting to feel like somehow we'll be targeted just for no reason, just because that's what it is to actually put the fear into the people. So now, in high, I think the protection, it's a bit like slip, slop, slap. I think during high levels of terror, no burning off, no burnouts, wear your hat, don't go out in the middle of the day, just don't go out at all, just fucking stay inside, lock the house, and don't talk to people with accents, just get yourself locked up and just start to cut people out. Don't even, your family, they could be the first ones. I've actually found one of the great sources of terror in my own home. It's in here. I'll show you. It's the kitchen bin, right in here. That is, look at that. That's the household terror. Every day. Oh, it's rotten in there, shit shoved in there, ready to explode. Oh, I'm like the Liam Neeson of the kitchen bin, of the terror every woman faces in her own home. Turn up the dial to high. It starts here. I take it out. I diffuse it myself. Because that's how we have to live in Tony Abbott's Australia. Expect everyone to be a terrorist. I'm just going to go through the fridge, not to look for food, because there could be some, I don't know, some of that. What is it, that the poisony stuff, the kind of, the white powder, I don't know, or there could be some sort of bomb. I don't know what I'm looking for in the state of high terror. I don't know what I'm looking for. There it is. See? That is fucking off. Don't worry, we'll get there, Australia. Thank you, Tony, for turning up the dial. Oh, that's worse. What the fuck is that doing in there?